Everybody for Philadelphia 76ers. Here they come, Philadelphia.
Come on. Come on. The Sixers. Oh, the Sixers force Game 7 as they dominate Game 6 on their home floor. The whole unit was special. Everyone except for Boban Marjanovic. Oh my, the unthinkable with that guy. You thought Greg Monroe stinks, we got to put someone else out there, and Boban minus 18 in 7 minutes? I don't know why I'm even talking about Boban. It's just funny to think about. The Sixers, unbelievable, carried by Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. Yes, Joel Embiid. I know he struggled offensively, but plus 40. Plus 40. And Jimmy Butler, he was outstanding. That second quarter finish, 11 points in the second quarter, he was a dog. Now let's go back to Ben Simmons, all right, because you know me, if you've been following the channel for quite some time, I'm such a Ben Simmons believer. I've always believed in Ben Simmons, but the last 2 games got me so frustrated I fell into my own trap. Before the playoffs even started, I said, Ben Simmons is going to get exposed. He's not ready yet. He's just not ready yet. And then I watched the last 2 games and I questioned for the first time in my life, is Ben Simmons going to work? And boy, was I stupid. I fell into my own trap. I knew he was going to get exposed at some times in the playoffs. But then he answered tonight. He answered tonight with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 0 turnovers. And he had the ball in his hands way more than any other game in this series. And in my pregame video, my looking into Game 6 video, I said that had to happen because Ben Simmons is just way too quiet when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. You got to put the ball in his hands way more. The Sixers dictated the pace of the game. Brett Brown said before the game started, I want to play at a fast pace. Just let them go out there. Let's not focus too much on possession by possession and overthink every single little possession. Go out there, play at your speed, play your game, and let's see what happens. And that's exactly what he did. We dictated the speed, we dictated the pace, and it clearly worked in our favor. Ben Simmons was so awesome tonight, and I'm so proud of him for stepping up. I've always been a Ben Simmons believer, but he does get frustrating. There's no denying that. He does get frustrating to watch as a fan, and I fell right into the trap. I did. I fell right into the trap. I apologize, Ben. That was so good tonight. Whew, I just gotta regain myself right here. Because not that I didn't think we could win, I actually thought we would go out there and win. But to see them dominate like that, and for all the Raptors fans saying, "Oh, you saw what happened, it's game over, it's game over." My counter argument to that was simple. Look how this series played out. Nothing that happened the game before means anything for the game after. And that's the same thing with Game 7, but we'll get into Game 7 tomorrow. Right now, it's to enjoy this. We had Tobias step up and be a role player. J.J. Redick stepped up at times and made shots. Mike Scott coming off the bench. But the 3 leaders for me was Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, who had 25 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds, and Joel Embiid. I know the Raptors did a great job of defending Joel Embiid, because he had trouble getting to the paint. Marcus Gasol did his thing, made it tough for Joel Embiid. Joel was getting the ball too far away from the basket and trying to bully Marcus Gasol down low, and it's not going to work. If Joel Embiid is going to dominate against Marcus Gasol, he's going to have to get the ball closer to the basket or find a way to get the ball going to the basket. The posting up from far out and trying to back him down, it's not going to work. Gasol is too tough for that. And you saw it. The Raptors did a great job of stopping him on the offensive side of the floor for us. But plus 40, that just shows you he's working. I mean, this whole team was working on the defensive side today. The defensive intensity was picked the hell up. Through 3 quarters, the Raptors were in 60 points area. It was 20-point game after the third. We were up 19 in the second quarter, too. Then they put in a 12-0 run. The fan base, boo! Boo! I was actually mad at Brett then because they did make a 12-0 run when we were up 19. And I'm sitting there screaming, call timeout, Brett, when it was an 8-0 run. Call timeout. There was another time I was screaming at him in the third to call timeout, and he never did. But I can't sit here and scream at Brett Brown. We tied up the series, and we're going into Game 7. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Both fan bases, let's be real, both fan bases have been upset with their teams throughout this series. That's just the way the series is played out. No one has put together complete games. It's one game, one team's great. The next game, the other team's great. And it's just the one team sucks one night, the other team sucks the other night. Both fan bases are frustrated because they know what their teams are capable of. But hey, Game 7. The best 2 words in sports. And we have a chance on Sunday at 7 o'clock to watch it happen. But like I said, we'll look ahead into that tomorrow. For right now, it is just really looking at this game and saying, holy hell, what a great game. Taking a look at some stats. Kawhi Leonard, 9 of 20, 29 and 12 for the scoreboard. I don't think he had a Kawhi-like game. He was missing shots. So was Siakam missing shots. Kawhi was 0 of 4 from 3. Their team all around did not shoot the rock well from 3. 9 from 36 from downtown. 9 of 36 from downtown. Once again, credit the Sixers defense, though. The intensity was picked up, and the crowd was a big factor of that as well. When it came to offensive rebounds, the Sixers had 16-0 boards, out-rebounded them. That has been a key throughout the entire series. When we out-rebound them, we put ourselves in such a great position. We out-rebounded them. We hustled on the glass. We did a great job with that. We moved the ball well, had a great number of assists. I loved what I saw out of the 76ers today. Everyone but Boban. Everyone but Boban. Poor Boban. Poor Boban couldn't get it done. It's almost unthinkable to think about his plus minus in the minutes that he had. We're going to have to figure out what's going to happen. I mean, Greg Monroe stunk the last 2 games before this one. I'm not mad at Brett for trying something new, but Boban ain't working. Boban ain't working. Anyone watching this video could have done a better job than Boban today. Also, going to Joel Embiid, though, that flagrant call, now he's one. He's one flagrant away from getting suspended. And I'm sorry, but the league has to look at that. They said it was unnecessary. He was boxing out his man on a free throw, went up, and hit his face. He hit his face like this. Marcus Gasol pops his head back, but that's not unnecessary flagrant. It wasn't unnecessary. It was a basketball move, going to the rebound, going up for the rebound. A flagrant to cost someone a potential game in the future for that, the league has to look at it. And I'm sure they will look at it. Will they change it, though? That I don't know. But come on, you can't get a flagrant for that. As for the fourth quarter as a whole, it sucked. The stoppages, the replays, the fouls. Get on with the game. It's a blowout. Get on with the game. What was that fourth quarter? It was atrocious. But all around, I take a look at this team, and they wanted it. And Jimmy Butler once again proves that he is something special. He is a leader, and he makes me feel comfortable going in to Game 7. One thing I loved is with Ben having more of the ball, Jimmy didn't have to just play that isolation game and settle. He didn't have to just settle for isolations, a couple pick and rolls, and try and shoot everything and make everything happen and force everything. He got to play off the ball, and I thought that helped Jimmy Butler way more. Same with Tobias. Them two not coming up with the ball every single time. It helped the whole team play. The pace of the game was the key. I thought we played fast. I thought we played up and down. It was in our control. We controlled the speed of the game. And that was a huge factor in why the Sixers were able to be so successful tonight. I want to know your thoughts down below on everything. On Ben Simmons. The crazy thing with Ben Simmons is he responds to criticism. I hate that it takes the fan base to get on him for him to have games like this, but he responds. Does he know he can do this all the time? I love Ben. I'm a Ben Simmons supporter. I love the way that he can change the game when he's aggressive. Does he see what he can do when he is aggressive? We all see it. That's why we get so frustrated. To do this and then have 7 off days, Ben, you can do this every time. He was moving without the ball. I actually saw him move a couple times without the ball. Some monster putback slams, some big rebounds. The kid was playing, and that's why we get frustrated, because we see him, like in Games 4 and Game 5, stand there and not do anything and sit there like this. We know he could be so good. That's why we are so hard on him. But he responds every time this fan base starts criticizing him. And I know people went overboard and said, trade him today, trade him, get him out of here for Kemba Walker. That's all nonsense, but that's how all the fan base was today, majority of it. He responds. I just don't understand why it takes us to be so critical of him for him to step his game up like this. 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers. He had 5 shots and 5 turnovers last game. I got to give credit to him. The kid stepped up. So, here we have it, fellas. Here we have it. Our Sixers brought us to 7. Just think about where we were just a couple years ago. And this is what it is. There are 2 teams playing. Now, granted, not every game each team showed up. But at the end of the day, here we are. 2 good teams playing for an Eastern Conference series, essentially. Right now, I'm focusing on how great this game was. And I loved it. From the intensity of the crowd to the intensity of the players on the defensive side, on the offensive side. The speed of the game. That was the key to me. The speed of the game. And guys like Joel. Joel struggled all night long on the offensive side of the game. There's no denying that. And I've seen Joel get frustrated at times offensively. But he didn't let it impact him. He was something else. His body just being out there, whether it works on the offensive side or not, his body just being there defensively, it changes the entire game. Now, it's crazy what the game plan was for the Raptors. I'm telling you, at one time in the paint, Joel Embiid had 5 people on him. 5 people on him, all like that, in the paint. It was ridiculous. It was clear their concept was, let's not allow Joel Embiid to get going. Well, sure, they stopped that from happening. But when you do that, you roll the dice, and everyone stepped up. From the starting lineup, I thought everyone had a good day. J.J. Redick got in some foul trouble, but those refs were calling things that were just whatever. And Mike Scott stepped up, and James Ennis gave you hard time. There was one point in the fourth quarter, we were up an obnoxious amount. Jimmy Butler is saving balls on the baseline, and Ben Simmons is grabbing these offensive boards, giving us 500% effort. And Joel Embiid, even though I didn't love it, he's diving on the ground, flopping all over the place in the fourth quarter when we're up an obnoxious amount. That's the different mentality this team had today. And we need to see the same thing. The thing is, we don't know because every game has been so different. But when we play like this, we show we can compete with this squad. Let me know what you think down below. Sixers force a Game 7. See you guys next time.